Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking about the rest of the week that was in pro wrestling. That includes results from AEW All Out, WWE SmackDown, and AEW Rampage. No Collision this week because it was on at the exact same time as SmackDown because of the Saturday pay-per-view. And the Saturday pay-per-view was because of the NFL on Sunday, because Tony Khan's family is ownership of the Jaguars. So there's a little connection everywhere. So, let's get into the results of All Out 2024. MJF defeats Daniel Garcia in the opener. The Young Bucks retain their tag team titles against the Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Will Ospreay retains his international title against the Bastard Pac. Chris Statlander beats Willow Nightingale in a Chicago street fight. Kazuchika Okada successfully defends his Continental Championship against Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, and Konosuke Takeshita. Mercedes Moné, the former Sasha Banks, retains her TBS title against Hikaru Shida. Bryan Danielson successfully retains his AEW World Champion against Jack Perry. And then the Blackpool Combat Club turns on him after the match. Did not see that coming. And then find Alamo in a lights out steel cage match. Now what this means, basically, no rules. And it's not officially a part of the record usually, because AEW usually keeps track of records, but now that's kind of out the window. Hangman Adam Page defeats Swerve Strickland by knockout. So, pretty solid card. I know there's a lot of controversy with a whole lot of violence on this show. But, I'm definitely in it. Watch it if you want. If you don't, whatever. No skin off my nose. So then we move on to the full recap of WWE SmackDown and AEW Rampage. It's going to start off with a SmackDown. Start off with a Bash in Berlin recap, because of course we need that, because we're all goldfish. Then we start off with a Cody Rhodes promo. He hypes up the crowd. He says as usual, "What do you want to talk about?" Which I am getting really annoyed by. If there's one thing I'd change about Cody Rhodes, it's that tagline. I don't love it. Anyway, he says, "Bash in Berlin, I won. Hell of an outing by Kevin Owens. But I didn't get to do this last week. Welcome back, Michael Cole." Michael Cole on commentary, which is very cool. Could go on further, but any moment now, I'm going to be interrupted. But before that happens, I'm going to extend an invitation to the Bloodline. This brings out, of course, the entirety of the Bloodline. So that's Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga Tongaloa. Solo then gets into the ring with Cody. He has a microphone. The other three are on the outside. Solo then asks Cody, "Are you done yet? Are you done playing around? Are you ready to defend against a real challenger? We all know I could have been champ at SummerSlam if it wasn't for Roman Reigns." This gets a "We want Roman" chant, which apparently a lot of people think was sound speakered in, which I don't believe that's the case at all. Solo continues, I deserve a rematch. There should, then Cody Rhodes replies, for our debut on USA, there should be a title match. And, dude, you're effective and unhinged. You're the number one connected in my book. You deserve a shot. However, he then says, oh, I wasn't talking to you, Solo. He then moves over. I was talking to you, Jacob Fatu. I'm like, yes, let's do this. Jacob then gets on the apron. It looks like he's ready for a fight. Solo turns to him. He mouths, what are you doing? Then Jacob, it looks like he's fired up. He's ready to go. Then he does his usual, I love you, my tribal chief. Gets down off the apron. I'm like, bro, you have that. That would have been such a hype match. Although, I understand. You want to save that for a big pay-per-view. Maybe, I don't know, Survivor Series or something. Anyway, then Cody continues, guess the shot wasn't worth it. Solo, you believe it, don't you? You will get better eventually. And maybe one day I'll look up at the lights with you standing over me. But this title, the WWE revolves around this. But next week, you want me next week? You're on! But we clearly don't have to wait. So, Solo is taking off his jacket, ready for a fight. Cody is doing the same. Bloodline slide into the ring. It looks like it's a 4-on-1 beatdown. Then out comes DIY and the Street Profits. Gonna get to why that's important a little later. They're standing off. They're ready for a fight. Then off the microphone, kind of from out of nowhere. I don't see him make his entrance, but out comes Nick Aldis, our general manager. And he says, everyone needs to settle down right now. I know you all want to fight, but Bloodline, DIY, Street Profits, you can do that in our main event, but not a minute sooner. And obviously we got our WWE title match next week. But what the Bloodline have been doing on SmackDown lately is bad for business. So next week, it's going to be Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE title inside a steel cage. Ooh, little cage match action. Heck yeah. And then that ends the segment. I'm going to say this. Solo has not been as inspiring as Tribal Chief lately. But I know how destructive he can be. And in a steel cage? Who knows? Maybe he steps up finally. So, that should be fun. Then there's this weird segment. It's Pretty Deadly and Tiffany Stratton in the back. Pretty Deadly are like doing Tiffany Stratton's hair and makeup or whatever. That looks like the weirdest thing. With Pretty Deadly saying, look, while this is the finale on Fox for tonight, we've got a premiere to look forward to, and we're going to look spectacular for it. In walks Nia Jax, Pretty Deadly just F off into the nether. Then Nia talks to Tiffany, says, Tiffany, I've heard through the grapevine that last week you were going to try to cash in on me. Why would you do that? Then Tiffany's all defensive. She's like, no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. You gotta talk to Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. So I got a match later tonight. Will you be in my corner? Then Nia says, I'm going to do for you what you did for me last week. some dissension in the ranks. I don't mind it. So then we finally get into our first matchup of the night. It's Bayley, the former women's champion, taking on Tiffany Stratton, Miss Money in the Bank. And while it does start off a little awkward, it ramps up almost immediately, including an Alabama slam onto the apron, which I don't know who taught Tiffany Stratton the Alabama slam. It's one of the best moves she does. Like, this is great. They go back and forth for a little bit. Bayley goes for a Bayley to belly, which, no offense to Bayley, I like her. She should stop using that move. Tiffany then blocks it, which should be easy to do. Goes for a Death Valley driver that gets blocked. Bayley then with a Bayley to belly. This brings out Nia Jax, who is just staring daggers right into Bayley. Then after the Bayley to belly, Bayley, it's a dive on Nia. Gets back in. Tiffany Stratton with the roll up. But as that's happening, Nia distracts the referee. So only gets a 2 count. Bayley gets back up, hits a rose plant to pick up the win. Here's what I'm going to say, and this is, I don't like the winners of the Money in the Bank taking pins like this. And don't get me wrong, I love Bayley. She's one of my favorite characters of all time. She doesn't need that win. Anyway, so that's that match. It was alright. So then we got Kevin Owens. He's backstage. He's looking at a mural of Wayne Gretzky. That's important because they're in Edmonton, and that was his team for a long time. Then in comes Waller and Theory, saying, look, you called yourself a loser for weeks before this title match. You said you didn't deserve it. Well, you proved yourself right. You clearly needed the help with the bloodline. Kevin Owens then slaps back, you two are freaking idiots. You're obviously great friends, a great team. Cody and I are fine. There's no issues between us. However, because of that, I'm going to go to Nick Aldis. I'm going to get a match together between the three of us. Because tonight is a great night for a triple threat. And there was some quote Kevin Owens tried with Wayne Gretzky. So I think it was Theory who was thinking long of it after Kevin Owens left. I don't think Gretzky ever said that. And then Waller saying, no, this match is great. It can be a 2-on-1. We could be really good. Then we cut to a restaurant, we'll say, for Legado del Fantasma. You see Humberto Carrillo, Angel Garza, and Elektra Lopez. I knew I forgot her name for a second. They're merry, they're cheering, they're drinking champagne, whatever. Santos Escobar then walks in. He then says, was tonight that win for a title? Garza then said, no. Who'd you beat? Cruz and Corbin. Then Santos says, don't be shocked by success. It's who we are. We don't find it, we make it. It's just the beginning. SmackDown is bound to be our turf. Now we celebrate. So they cheers, they drink a little champagne, and that's the segment. They need to do something with these guys. Garza and Carrillo actually just re-signed new contracts. They need to do something with these guys. Anyway, so then we get this next match. as it's Giovanni Vinci making his SmackDown debut in his NXT gimmick, in which he's, wearing a tracksuit. He's the fancy guy, which I don't buy, as he's taking on Apollo Crews. And as Vinci is taking off his jacket and his tracksuit, the bell rings for whatever reason. Apollo Crews goes in, hits a roll-up, 1, 2, 3. And yeah, your winner, Apollo Crews. I honestly have no idea what's going on with Vinci. They hyped him up so much, only just to have him lose in a couple of seconds. So unless this is going to be a series between Vinci and Crews, why'd you kick him out of Imperium? I don't understand. Anyway, so then we got Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. They're in Nick Aldis's office. Chelsea Green is complaining about her treatment in WWE. Then in walks Mia Yim. And then she says, well, now I want to whoop that pancake butt now. Chelsea Green retorts, you're clearly falling off. Oh no, this is Aldis saying, I like that verbiage of falling off the horse and getting back on. So tonight it's going to be you versus Mia Yim. Alright, at least it's something different. Next up, we got Kevin Owens taking on Austin Theory and Grayson Waller in a triple threat match. It does start off kind of as a beatdown of Kevin Owens, but then Kevin fights back. It's a nasty looking cannonball off the apron. Eventually Waller and Theory fight back. Kevin Owens with a nasty powerbomb through the table set up ringside, which I'm glad they did this. Triple threats are usually no DQ, which, I'm glad we finally got this. Got back in the ring. Theory was about to go for a brainbuster that gets blocked by Owens. But then Owens with the stunner to pick up the win. Post-match, Grayson Waller attacks Kevin Owens from behind. Owens fights back. Austin Theory with a chop block and an 8-count down under. Waller with a flatliner. So it looks like this rivalry isn't ending anytime soon, as we'll see backstage in a minute. Then we get 2 back-to-back highlight segments, as we first get the series between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes, in which we're getting another one next week. We'll get to that in 2 minutes. Then we get this one, which is a highlight video of SmackDown's time on Fox. So this episode of SmackDown is actually going to be the last one on Fox because the deal is up. So now SmackDown is actually going to move to USA. There have been talkings of SmackDown joining Raw on Netflix, but I don't think that was part of the plan. I think SmackDown is just going to be on USA while Raw is going to be on Netflix, I think. Anyway, so that's that. We then get an LA Knight, promo saying, I'm a little over 30 days into my reign. I got 2 successful title defenses. Went from USA to here to Berlin, now in the Big D. Everyone is gunning for this title, but nobody comes out with it because I won't let him. Then out comes Carmelo Hayes, who says, man, you're bragging about 2 title defenses. I've been stealing the show every week. And you do what you always do, which is run your mouth. Now, I am currently up 2 wins over Andrade, so I'm clearly next in line for a title shot. LA Knight then says, I clearly got more title defenses than my predecessor. You keep worrying about winning, and This brings out Andrade. He says, take it easy, gents. Tranquilo. And he goes right up to Hayes. He says, yes, you did beat me twice, but I beat you twice too. Hayes then says, yeah, no one remembers that. Andrade then says, everyone here remembers. Don't I deserve a shot at the U.S. title? I deserve it. LA Knight then replies, I'm a bit of a busy man, but whatever. I want to fight. I don't want you to fight over me, and it makes no difference who comes out of it. I'm gonna beat them. And then Andrade pretty much says, that title you have there, that title was mine. I put it over. Then LA Knight says, keyword, was. Now, you both check your tone for me before I put you outside. Then Mello and Andrade kind of push each other around a little bit. Then Andrade pushes... Hayes pushes Andrade into LA Knight. LA Knight hits a BFT on Andrade. Goes to leave. Hayes is now lording over Andrade, talking smack. LA Knight gets him back up. BFT. So, it looks like we're going to get a number 1 contendership for the U.S. title. And then a future match somewhere down the line. I kind of hope it's at Bad Blood. And honestly, I kind of hope it's a triple threat. Then we see A-Town Down Under. That's Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. They're walking them back. They're all hyped up. And they run into Nick Aldis. And they say pretty much, look, it's easy. We took him out after that triple threat. We want Kevin Owens in a tag match. And his partner can be anyone he wants. Because he clearly doesn't have any friends left. Okay, interesting. We'll see who Kevin Owens gets next Friday. We then get Chelsea Green versus Mia Yim in a pretty quick but also kind of interesting matchup. Where, really good back and forth, including a Mia Yim hitting a Styles Clash, but then Piper Niven distracts the ref. Green with a roll-up, only for a 2. Mia Yim goes for the Eat Defeat, that gets countered. Green goes for the Unprettier. Mia blocks it. Green rolls to the outside. Mia Yim with a big old dive. Gets Chelsea Green back in. Green then distracts the ref. Piper Niven gets in Mia Yim's face. Green hits an enziguri first, then gets the referee away from the ropes. And then Piper Niven hits a big old senton on Mia Yim. Gets her back in the ring. Green with an Unprettier to pick up the win. So, entertaining match. I wish they were given a little bit more time, but with the main event, I can understand why. Okay, can we stop the chit-chatting, please? Next up, we get a dual interview from DIY and the Street Profits. with Gargano pretty much starting, saying, there's a lot of respect here. We both obviously want the tag titles. We both want to take down the Bloodline. But then Dawkins says, man, you guys just got here. We've been taking down the Bloodline for years at this point. But it's clear you want to take down the Bloodline too, so we're good. So then both teams walk off, and we go right into our main event of the evening, as it's an 8-man tag team match playa, as it's the Bloodline. Full Bloodline, so it's Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and the Guerrillas of Destiny taking on DIY, that's Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, and the Street Profits, that's Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. And, Bloodline are standing around all in the ring, they're waiting, and everyone just brawls. Just big old brawl to start the matchup. Eventually, we get Gargano and Tonga Loa in to start off. Definitely a decent little back and forth. I don't think Loa is as bad as people think, even with his weird punches. Definitely really, really good back and forth between the two teams. But then eventually Jacob Fatu gets in and just starts running house. Bunch of super kicks, a Samoan drop, a big splash. Then, to put it away, he hits the Impaler DDT on Gargano, tags in Solo, hits one Samoan spike with him standing up, and then one more while he's on the ground for the Bloodline to pick up the win. I'm going to say this. It's time to push Jacob Fatu as the tribal chief. Because I'm going to say this. Solo ain't working. Jacob is way better. Anyway, a pretty entertaining episode of SmackDown. The last one on Fox. So, we're going to see... we're going to see where these stories go. Especially with our premiere coming. Next up, we got AEW Rampage, and it starts with a match that main evented AEW Collision, as it's the full force of the Elite. So that's Kazuchika Okada, Jack Perry, and the Young Bucks taking on the Blackpool Combat Club. So that's Claudio Castagnoli, Bryan Danielson, Wheeler Yuta, and Pac. And this goes on for a bit. I am very, very surprised how long this went on. Really good back and forth with the Young Bucks going for the TK driver, but that gets countered by Claudio, who gets the giant swing. Swings Nicholas around a couple of times, with Yuta hitting the drop kick to pick up the win for his team. Definitely an interesting way to get people to watch Rampage, because that was a heck of a finish to the main event, technically. And it's also now the opener, which is a little weird. But, I dig it. We then cut backstage to an interview with the Outrunners, who on Collision had their first win in AEW, which is, awesome. And they're hyping each other up. They're saying, we looked like kings out there. We're taking this party outside. And the same week we get our merch here in AEW, we get a win. Before they can continue, they're attacked from behind by Moxley and Marina Shafir. Moxley turning back to him, saying, congratulations, guys. Welcome to AEW. And moves on. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. This Moxley storyline has been very, very interesting. Obviously, you know, the finish of the match at All Out. So, yeah, storyline's progressing really interestingly. Then we get kind of an interesting match as we get Queen Aminata taking on NWA alumnus Missa Kate. And this was interesting little back and forth for a while. Eventually, Queen Aminata wins with a big headbutt, which headbutt ending a match. Interesting. We then get an MJF versus Daniel Garcia hype video with them getting ready for their match at All Out. Then we get this interesting little matchup as it's 6-man tag team action as the Dark Order, so that's Evil Uno, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver. I knew I forgot his name. I apologize. Taking on Dustin Rhodes, the Natural, Sammy Guevara, and making his Rampage debut, it's Hologram, who has really been a Collision Cowboy for a while. And yeah, this match, it's pretty darn good, especially with Hologram and Sammy Guevara flying all over the place. Eventually, Silver and Reynolds do get some double teams in. Dark Order goes for their pendulum triple move, but Hologram moves. It's a couple knees, a couple kicks. Double moonsault by Hologram and Sammy Guevara. Dustin hits a destroyer. Sammy with a cutter. Hologram with a 450 to pick up the win for his team. I'm going to say this. This dynamic for this team is interesting. Maybe one day we'll see them get a trios title shot. Although Dustin is a double champion. He has both the ROH tag and the ROH 6-man tag titles. We then head backstage for a promo with the Bang Bang Gang. So that's Austin and Colton Gunn along with Juice Robinson. With Juice taking the lead, saying, here's the thing about the trios division, you obviously need momentum. We got a heck of a team here, and we just getting better. Before that continues, the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage roll in. Says, yeah, I got a new name for you. The Ass Boys. Bringing up that old wound. With Cage saying, look, we're first in line for the trios titles. If you guys got a problem, you're looking at the next trios champs. We waited our turn, and our time is now. Then Juice retorts, there's no way the three of you can beat the three of us. Let's do this. So they have their match at All Out. Then we get a dual interview between Top Flight and Action Andretti and Shane Taylor Promotions. So that's Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty and the Beast Mortis. And before anyone can say anything, in comes the Undisputed Kingdom, with Roddy taking the lead saying, Beast, I thought you were with us, man. Then Shane Taylor says, he's ours now. So why don't you guys buzz off? We'll see you for this match. Then, I think it was Dante Martin saying this. No matter whose side the Beast is on, he's on the losing side. Okay. Definitely an interesting line there. Then we get this very weird main event. As it's the House of Black, so it's just Buddy Matthews and Brody King taking on the MXM collection. So that's Mansoor and Mason Madden. And MXN actually bring out some judges for what they're calling the match fashion show or whatever it is, whatever they were calling it. And anytime either one of the MXN does a move or poses, the judges are like, yeah, 10, whatever. Then anytime anyone else does something, they get, 3, 5, 1. It's absolutely ridiculous. Match itself then starts. House of Black dominate for a little bit, including a spot where Mansoor's on the outside. He's right in the judges' faces, so Brody King cross-bodies all 4 of them, which is an interesting little thing. They get back in the ring. Brody King has Mansoor in the guillotine sleeper, in which it's a sleeper hold, but he's dangled over the ring. Madden then gets a chair, hits a chair shot on him, but Brody King no-sells it. Really nice back and forth to finish it up, including a big old pile driver from the King to pick up the win for the House of Black. Hell of an interesting main event match. A little bit silly, but I kind of liked it. Then we finish off Rampage with a Will Ospreay promo, saying that, Pac, I don't know how to feel after your brainbuster, but you wanted me right now. I'm going to take it out of your backyard. Nah, 1 by 1, I beat you. I thank you for our matches we've had. You're good, but you're not... I've always heard the line, you're good, but you're no Pac. I'm not satisfied with a time limit draw. After our brawl last week, I'm not going to forget our history. I've been in this position so many times. Can you change it? So, bit of a rambly promo from Will Ospreay to finish off Rampage, but it was definitely interesting as a go home to All Out, which I did give you guys the results. So, that will be that from me for this week. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Rampage was a bit odd. Hopefully we get some more stuff like what happened with the BBC and the Elite match that happened. So, coming down the ring this week, I will not be coming to the ring Monday Night Raw, which is seeing the return of Bret the Hitman Hart. Okay? Instead, I will be watching my New York Jets. Hopefully, it goes better than last year's opener. So, Raw will not be covered. I will still try to cover Power and Dynamite for this week. Plan is also to cover SmackDown, Rampage, and Collision. That'll be on Monday. Hopefully you guys tune in for that. Until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.